What's going on, YouTube? Kaioken with an Expo Wi-Fi battle finally. I had this on my stream, I don't know, like a week or two ago, and as you can see, I'm using the team that I had used possibly in a previous Wi-Fi battle, the latest one I had, I think, and featured in the Shadow Live at one point. This is against Stardust1993, I believe the numbers are. Like I said, he's a viewer from my stream, you know, pretty cool guy. Anyway. Looking at his team, he has some things that might be difficult for me to deal with. Swampert, Zygarde potentially if he gets Dragon Dancing, Victini, probably a Scarfer, and I'm not really too worried about the Chansey because I have Infernape and Scizor. And the Zapdos I'm also not too worried about because I do have my Thundurus and my Kyurem Black. So, without further ado, let's get started. I figured that he would probably start with the Victini because, you know, Scarf Victini would probably be the most optimal lead for him. I just love my Kyurem though. I don't really remember why, because like I said, this battle was from at least a week ago, so I don't really remember my entire thought process. So I'll leave off with my Kyurem, and I figured that turn 1 he wouldn't do any kind of crazy predictions and predict me to bring in my Jellicent, so I'll switch my Jellicent right in. I had to go for the Blue Flare. It would have been nice and neutral because Kyurem's Dragon Ice type, and I eat up the Blue Flare. Now here, in case he wasn't choiced, I went to switch out into my Clefable to see if he was choiced, you know, to see if he switched a move or like Expert Belter or whatever. And he goes to his Chansey, so that pretty much tells me that he's not choiced. I'm pretty sure I go into my Clefable right here. No, I'll go to my Scizor. Why'd I go into my Scizor? Hello? What was I predicting? Oh, I think I was predicting he would go for the electric move and I'd be able to eat it up. So, he goes into his Chansey, go to my Scizor. I'm going to go for the knockoff because knocking out that Chansey's Eviolite would be quite helpful. He's done switching to Zapdos though. Now that is one of my Zapdoses, so I know that it has Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, potentially Heat Wave. I'm not entirely sure if it does. And I don't want my Scizor to get hit by a potential Heat Wave, so he's going to make it safe play, go for the Thunderbolt. I switch into my Kyurem Black. Now, right here, I make a very, very questionable play. Well, not questionable, it's a very bad play in my opinion. I'm predicting him to bring in a Swampert, so I double switch into my Clefable predicting that. Now, you know, that doesn't seem like a bad idea because usually Kyurem Blacks are physical attackers. Well, if you remember this team from previously, this is my special attacking Kyurem Black. And an Ice Beam on the switch-in and an Ice Beam, you know, the following turn would just knock it out, as it does at least 55%. And I don't know what I was thinking at that point. I think I was just thinking that this would be an opportunity to get at my rocks. So I guess that's really what I wanted to do there. And unfortunately for me, the following turn, he goes for a Waterfall, gets a crit, and it's whatever. And because he's been watching my stream, he saw a previous battle I had, and he knows that I have knockoff on this Clefable, and he figured that Swampert would be the thing that he'd want to get knocked off. Now right here, he goes for the Roar, because I'm guessing he didn't want to go for the Waterfall, seeing how the first one was a crit, and it did big damage. And unfortunately for me, he's going to worm me out into my Infernape, and this Infernape doesn't have U-turn on it, I don't believe. It definitely doesn't, because I wouldn't have hard switched right here. I'm going to go back into my Clefable, and for whatever reason, I think it's coming up next turn. Possibly, I think I'll go for the Seismic Toss. Now, I say for whatever reason because this is level 50, and when I had initially made this Clefable with Seismic Toss, it was obviously, you know, banking level 100 battles since level 50 Seismic Toss doesn't do all that much. So he's going to go for the Earthquake, he has to go for the Seismic Toss, get up a decent chunk, seeing as how he doesn't have leftovers on him. That'll be a great help, but like I said, if I had just Ice Beam touched on my Kyurem Black, that would just take out the Swampert, and I wouldn't be dealing with this right now, and that sort of comes into play later on in the battle. So I'm just going for a Soft Boil, go for the Earthquake, and I'm pretty sure I repeat the cycle for a little while, just to make sure my Clefable's healthy, because I figured I would need it for the Zygarde. Even though I don't have Moonblast on this Clefable, I just figured that that would prevent him from going for Outrages later on in the battle. So, at this point, seeing as how he's going for Waterfall, but even though I switch it up to Earthquake, I know my Jellicent will be able to take it quite easily because this is my physically defensive Jellicent. And he takes it relatively well. Not as well as I thought he would, but Swampert does have pretty respectable attack if I remember correctly. And right here, I don't remember if I go for the Taunt or the Recover. I probably went for the Recover just to stay healthy, as he, I guess, predicted me to go for Skull. Oh no, I went straight for the Scald. Okay, yeah. I went for the Scald, and I really wanted to get the burn. Oh, I did get the burn on this one. I guess I'm thinking of a later point when I go for the Scald and not get the burn. Well, I get the burn. It's very helpful. And I don't know if he knew that I packed Taunt on this Jellicent. But he switches out immediately, I think, into a Zapdos, which, honestly, that... I should have just predicted that, in all honesty. I went for another Skull as opposed to going for the Taunt. Because there was really no reason for him to stay in at that point. But, the bright side about me taunting, I guess you can say the bright side, is that he won't defog, but I kind of wanted him to defog because, this team doesn't have a spinner, and I have a few Pokemon weak to rock, and that's kind of upsetting, because I just built this team and I did not rapid spinner. So, I actually thought he was going to Thunderbolt there, so I went into my Thunderous, as he predicted me quite nicely, went for the Heat Wave. Unfortunately for him, he did miss the Heat Wave. So right here, this is my double and Thunderous, so I was contemplating whether to start dancing, or should I just go for the attack on the Swampert. I was predicting Swampert coming, that's why I went for the Hidden Power Ice, because if I wasn't predicting the Swampert coming, I went straight for the T-Bolt, stab. And that's quite a decent chunk, but if I had Nasty Plotted, it wouldn't have really, done as much. Well, rather, it wouldn't have been that much of a difference, because I would get the Hidden Power off, and he'd probably roar me out next turn. Because I'm 90% sure it wouldn't have killed, because this is my bulky double land Thunderous, so it doesn't have max special attack. In any case, I'm going to switch out into my Jellicent now, because I do not want my my Zapdos taking, not Zapdos, wow, Thunderous taking any unnecessary damage. And right here, I make another unnecessary play. Instead of just going for the Ice Beam once again, which I could have done, I went for the Earth Power, predicting his Victini to come in, going to, to absorb the Ice Beam. And if I just went for the Ice Beam earlier, I would have taken out the Swampert, my Current Block would be nice and healthy, and I just wouldn't be it. But unfortunately for me, I am. So, I'm going to go into Victini right now, take some nice Stealth Rock damage, delicious nutritious, and go for the Psychic. Now, because I'm fairly certain that is based on the first turn of the battle that his Victini is Scarfed, I'm going to go into my Scizor, I believe, and go right for the knockoff. And that would be nice, but I know he's not going to stay in, so I'll just get a knockoff on whatever comes in. I don't remember if I was predicting the Zapdos or not, but regardless, knockoff was the safest play for me to go for, so that's what I did go for. And like Superpower wouldn't have done much to Victini anyway. Now, he was caught off guard here, because this is actually a Jolly Max Speed Scizor, and I went for the knockoff, knocking out the Zapdos once again. So he definitely wasn't expecting that. But now he goes into his Zygarde. And unfortunately for me, this is where things start to get a little hectic. Because, alright, so here's what I was thinking. I was like, alright, I have to switch out now because I don't want him to Dragon Dance, but even if he does Dragon Dance for free, I'll go into my Clefable, because having my Clefable around will prevent him from going for Outrage. And even though I was thinking that, the plays I did not match my thought process. So I go to my Clefable as he Dragon Dances, and I'm like, alright, this is fine. I'll stay in here and not die to the whatever he goes for. But he goes for the Earthquake, and then as soon as my Clefable died, I'm like, wait, my Clefable's dead. Now he can Outrage. Well, what I should have done there was switch to my Thunderous. Well, I was thinking afterwards I probably should have switched to my Thunderous and on the Earthquake, because I was fairly certain that my Thunderous would be able to... Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, my thought process was at that point that he would be forced to go for the Extreme Speed, because he would predict me to bring back in my Clefable to be immune to the immune to the Earthquake, immune to the Outrage. So therefore, I should have just switched in my thing directly, but instead of that, I didn't. So I'm gonna go to my Infernape, get off a Mach Punch, get off some chip damage, nice some chip damage, and he's locked in Outrage now. And that was another questionable play by me. I probably should have went directly into my Scizor, but for whatever reason, I valued my Scizor more than my Infernape at that point. Fortunately though, well, fortunately for him, he gets a 3-turn Outrage. Unfortunately for me, it's a 3-turn Outrage. So right here, I'm banking on the confusion so that he hits himself, and my Scizor will be, you know, at a decent amount of HP. Unfortunately for me, once again, he doesn't get confused. So, you know, once again, hacks doesn't really go my way. Wait, was there hacks before? I did get critted, but that didn't really matter. Anyway, so, now Victini's gonna come in after I KO the Thunders. Thunders? No. Zygarde. I'm just gonna go right for the Bullet Punch again, because this Victini is probably Scarf, and I get a crit here. Pretty sure that didn't matter at all in the long run, because at this point, pretty sure all I have left is my Jellicent. I could have preserved my Scizor, but there was really no point in actually doing that. Actually, no, not really. So because he's definitely, by this point, like, I'm just convinced he's Scarf, I'm gonna go right for the Recover. He's gonna go with his Chansey. Now at this point, I was sure I had lost. And, you know, oh no, I'll go for the Scald. Why did I go for the Scald? Did I think he'd bring in Malamar? That might have been what I was thinking, going for the Scald. Because if I was predicting Chansey, I definitely would have just recovered. So, I'm gonna go for the Taunt, and like at this point I thought I lost because I had messed up playing around the Zygarde, as he goes for the Toxic, and I was like, alright, you know, I don't want to get status. So, I can go for the Recover right here, you know, freely, as he does whatever he wants to do. And he actually just ends up staying in and going for the Seismic Toss. I think what he wanted was to get a free switch into one of his other Pokemon, because he didn't want to risk his Malamar getting burned, and if his Victini came in on the Scald, he would be upset. So, what my plan here was to keep the Chansey taunted so that he couldn't Toxic me or use Seismic Toss. But in reality, I was playing this extremely obviously, and I was just hoping that he wouldn't come in on a turn, well, he would predict me to taunt him and just get in the Pokemon for free, getting his Victini or his Malamar. Fortunately for me, it's pretty much going my way right now, so since I didn't get a burn on a Chansey, I figure I'll just go for the Toxic, just keep myself healthy, or keep myself healthy? No. Just to, you know, wear it on a little bit faster, and it's wearing it down, and for whatever reason right here, I go for the Taunt. Now, like I had previously suggested, I was playing this extremely obviously, and I could have just actually gone for the Scald and knocked it out. I pretty much just wasted a turn there, nothing was accomplished. I mean, the Chansey died the Toxic, but, you know, that's not really relevant because it would have died at the end of the turn anyway. So, right, he's going to go in his Malamar, and now at this point, I'm like, you know what, I got a chance. I think I could definitely, you know, come back from this. He's going to go for the Night Slash, as I'm going to go for the Scald here, hoping for the burn, but unfortunately for me, he gets a crit. Now, that crit definitely matters because that would have done half that damage, so what was that? That's 140, would have done 70. Approximately, I'm just, you know, rounding based on how much it did. And I didn't get the burn off that Scald either, so I'm just upset. And, yeah, that's going to be the end of the game. I don't know how it really would have played out if I did get the burn or he didn't crit me. Because he said his Victini had Thunder and, you know, it would have been up in the air or about a miss or whatever. But in any case, that'll be GG Stardust.